President Trump today arriving to a hero's welcome at CPAC. And Trump's America First message met with electric energy.
I'm not representing the globe. I'm representing your country. We will serve the citizens of the United States of America, believe me. The core conviction of our movement is that we are a nation that put and will put its own citizens first.
Joining me now, Rich Lowry, Jenny Beth Martin, Madison Jesse Otto, and Ned Ryun, who joins us from CPAC. Ned, let me start with you. Was it as electric as it looked to us on TV? I mean, it looked like he had the crowd eating out of his hands.
Oh, he did. No, it was absolutely the energy, the excitement, multiple standing ovations, the cheering. I mean, he had to tell the crowd to sit down multiple times. People just wanted to stay standing in between the standing ovations. They didn't want to sit down. So he had to repeatedly tell them sit down. But, you know, Charles, I thought he had a great message, especially I thought he had a lot of great lines. I thought the one line that really stood out to me was that the GOP will become the party of the American worker. And if Trump can be successful in doing that between now and 2020, he's shored up the social conservative vote with the appointment of Neil Gorsuch. If he gets the American worker, he builds this new coalition, he's going to win re-election in 2020, hands down.
You know, Jenny Beth, last year, of course, Donald Trump was not at CPAC, and I'm not sure if you had something to do with that, but it's been a long time, and a lot has changed. What did you make of what's going on now, and not only the reception, but the remaking of the conservative movement?
Well, throughout the year last year, President Trump stuck to his agenda. He won people like the Tea Party over to his promises. And what I thought today as I watched his speech is that he's continuing to advocate the same agenda he ran on. He's keeping his promises, and we have every reason to believe he will continue to do that. We're going to see Obamacare repealed. He is securing our border. He's going to cut the regulatory state, grow the economy, and there are going to be more jobs for the American worker.
You know, also, Kirsten, what I liked is when he talked about brought God into the conversation. I always get, you know, I like that part, and then he talked about everyone, you know, being the same in the eyes of God, and you know that I think is something that's always, no matter which way the Republican Party leans, is going to be one of the key foundations.
Oh, absolutely, and of course that is a key part of the Republican base and his constituency that he won with. He brought those evangelical leaders and those people into the fold, so he's got to stick true to that message. Also, it kind of combats this, you know, very divisive message from the left that says that, you know, Donald Trump is xenophobic, Donald Trump is racist. I think he needs to keep hitting that message that we're all equal in the eyes of God, so that he makes sure that people know that he's not this divisive leader.
He had all the hot buttons, Rich. You heard Ned talk about the working class people. Let's face it, blue-collar Republicans, white Republicans who have been ignored by the elites on both sides of the aisle, they gave President Trump a shot. And he's got to do something with it. But right now, he's firing on all cylinders.
Right. Well, this was a party that was over-invested in the ideal of entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurs are important. We need them for the economy to grow. But most people aren't entrepreneurs. They're workers. And this is the key breakthrough that Donald Trump has made. And you're right. He has to deliver on it. And it's not just higher GDP. It's higher wage growth, another thing that he's focused on that traditional Republicans haven't.
You know, Madison, CPAC is obviously known for young Republicans in the face of the future of the conservative movement. How did the younger Republicans resonate with his message, Donald Trump's message, resonate with younger Republicans down there?
You know, the energy in the room this morning was just absolutely incredible. And when I looked around me, I could not help but notice there were so many young college students that came out to CPAC this year, specifically to support President Trump. And one thing that I noticed really resonated with them was when he said, you know, the forgotten men and women of this nation will not be forgotten anymore. And this is something he said at the inauguration, and the students loved this. It was amazing to see, and I think they really appreciate the fact that, you know, over the last 30 days, he's kept so many promises, more promises than some presidents have kept in 4 to 8 years. So they've been really impressed with that, and we're so excited to see him speak today.
Ned, also, of course, the second highlight, I would suspect, of the gathering was Bannon's conversation and his straightforwardness. Listen, you know, you could talk about Reince Priebus keeping the trains running on time, but if you talk about the ideology, the passion behind this, in addition to Donald Trump, it's got to go to Bannon, right?
No, yeah, exactly. And Bannon, of course, is a very known quantity here at CPAC, having been with Breitbart for years. So he's been at CPAC for a lot of the previous years. So to see him on the main stage, and a lot of us truly believe, again, that with Bannon in the White House, forget some of these charges of alt-right. Bannon is the guy that's going to be pushing a message that we're going to agree with, that is going to help Trump really push forward a message that a lot of us, we will agree with. There's not always going to be complete agreement, but we think there will be a lot of things, and we think Bannon's the guy to do it because he is that outsider. He has a different perspective. He's not establishment. And so it was encouraging for a lot of us to see him on the stage and, of course, to be that senior advisor at the White House.
Right. Of course, there are a lot of people vying for influence with President Trump and within the White House, including Reince Priebus. Let's take a listen to what he had to say as well. And then, Jenny Beth, I want to get your thoughts.
President Trump brought together the party and the conservative movement.
There's a new political order that's being formed out of this, and it's still being formed. The center core of what we believe, that we're a nation with an economy, not an economy just in some global marketplace with open borders, but we are a nation with a culture.
You know, Jenny Beth Martin, one of the, I guess the term that will come out of this gathering is economic nationalism. What to you does that mean? Does that connect back to the roots of the Tea Party movement?
Well, absolutely it does. When we started 8 years ago, and actually 8 years ago, next Monday is our 8th anniversary, we started because the government was growing larger and larger, spending more and more money, and our debt was increasing. President Trump and Steve Bannon and Breitbart have all focused on this over the last, Breitbart for the last 8 years, President Trump as he was campaigning the last several years, and they're going to address that. Americans around this country understand that when we're $20 trillion in debt, it's real money that someone is going to have to pay back at some point. I want to say one more real quick thing about Bannon and also about President Trump. They both, over the last several years, have listened to the American people, and they've taken what they've learned from the American people, listening to them, and they're enacting that in the White House. I think that's encouraging, and Congress could learn from it.